attached picture.
If I want to hang a flag in my room, would I hang it like it would sit on a flagpole, or would I hang it with the stripes facing down?
Doesn't matter as long as you display the Union correctly.
Okay.
The Union can be displayed either this way or this way. It doesn't really matter. I'm sorry, Ernest. Go ahead.
Okay. It says you don't fly the flag upside down unless there's a dire emergency.
Yeah.
What's an example of that?
An example of that, years ago in the United States Navy, they did all their communications with flags. One of our ships was in distress years ago. The only way they had communication was with flags. They flew the U.S. flag upside down as a symbol of distress, and it stuck, and they added that to the flag too. When all these organizations got together, that was one way they said it could be put upside down as a symbol of distress for whatever.
For our glass wall issue, is there such thing as a double-sided flag, or is it that
You could put two on.
Oh, you can put two.
You could do that. Then you could honor both sides.
In a flag burial ceremony, what is the ceremony?
No, go ahead.
In a flag burial ceremony, what is the significance of not letting people know where they actually bury the flag?
There are several different ways. Were you in the Scouts? They do it that way. I don't know. The American Legion does not do it that way. The American Legion doesn't say anything really about burying the ashes. They say that you're to make sure that it's completely destroyed to a fine ash, but not to bury it. So I don't know what the significance of that is for the Boy Scouts. Yes, sir.
In the pamphlet, it said that you're not supposed to put anything inside the flag, but at my father's burial, they took the bullets from the firing squad and they put them inside. Does that include that?
That is tradition that whoever gave the military honors at the military funeral, they take the brass casings and put a couple of them in the flag that the family has as souvenirs. So that's just kind of a tradition thing. It's not really carrying them, it's actually displayed with them.
Okay,
the flag code says that the flag is above all other flags, but what happens if it's with flags from other nations?
You talking like the UN?
Yes.
Okay. If you'll notice, if you watch pictures of New York when they show the UN buildings, all the flags are exactly the same. Now, then it moves to where they're placed. And then it comes back to order of the 5 initial members of the UN are first. Then it goes on around. That's one of the cases that they would be equal. But if you'll notice that at the Olympics, there's always a controversy. Every time we have the Olympics, is the U.S. going to dip its flag to the host nation? We've had incidents where some of our athletes didn't. They didn't dip the flag. That's a courtesy.
Any other questions here?
Yes.
You said it only in a dire emergency hanging upside down. Like a house robbery or something like that kind of a dire emergency to hang it upside down?
Well, it could be. I mean, if you could get to it quick enough. Now, let me tell you a story. There was a little girl in Texas. She was kidnapped by whoever. And she was held captive. Well, she convinced these people who had her hostage to let her fly the flag. Well, for 5 days, she flew the flag upside down. Finally, some policeman drove by and saw this, and the little girl was rescued. Now, that's a true story. But I mean, it's something like that that's why you would do that. Because that looks completely different if it's like that. So, upside down. Yes, sir.
I read somewhere that whenever you do a flag ceremony where you're burning it, that you're to cut the blue flame out of the flag so it's no longer the United States flag when you burn it.
And again, like there's several different ways to do that, and that is one way. I've seen where you cut the union out, you burn the stripes and the stars first, and place the union on top of it, so then it's all together again. I've heard like this gentleman said over here, and then the American Legion just says it's folded and burned. So I mean, there's different variations. The key point is that it's completely destroyed, so that no part of this flag is ever going to be flown again. None of it. That's the important part.
Question over here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I've heard that Texas is the only state in the union's allowed to fly their state's flag same height as the American flag. Why?
That is not true.
Not true.
Now, you talk to a Texan, they might say that, but no. The U.S. flag is higher than all of our state flags.
I know you're not supposed to wear the flag as clothing. What about like companies that make shirts that are made to look like the actual flag?
Well, that's the key point, is to look like the actual flag. It's not a flag. I mean, they may put stripes and stars and everything on it, but it's not a real flag. That's the difference.
That would be just the same as the pamphlet that we handed out to you that has the picture of the flag on it, okay? If you drop that pamphlet on the ground because it's got the flag on it, well, we now have to dispose of that pamphlet in the same manner that you, okay? That's not what it's intended for. What it's talking about is you shouldn't take a flag and cut it off and, you know, make patchwork out of it or whatever as clothing.
Yes, sir.
What happens to the metal rims?
They'll just burn up with the rest. They just burn up with the rest. If they don't burn all the way, the ring can't be used on that particular flag again. So, I mean, it's still considered destroyed.
Would you get in trouble for flying it upside down if like a cop would come and check it out?
Well, if you were be filing some kind of falsified, you know, you could be inciting a panic or something. If someone sees it and does something, I mean, you shouldn't do it unless it's actually an emergency.
30 stripes.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yes.
The Olympics, when they wear the flag around on their shoulders.
Well, you can debate that. I mean, if I was an athlete, which that doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon, but if I was that, I would not do that. I might take one of these and wave it, but I certainly wouldn't wrap it around my shoulders and run around. That would be my personal. However, that brings us to a point that flag allows us to do that. I mean, there's a lot of countries' flags that wouldn't care what they did. You know, they're persecuted for doing things. Our flag says it's okay for you to do that. You know, shouldn't. I don't think you should. But
That's one of the biggest things, and for the last several years, there have been laws trying to be put into place in regards to making it illegal to burn the American flag. Okay, again, not in a ceremony, disposal ceremony, but just to burn the flag. It keeps getting voted down. And that is a very, very tough issue that Congress has to deal with. Veterans that are here today, okay, you ask them, should you burn the flag? And they're going to tell you, and if I offend anyone here, I'm sorry, they're going to tell you straight up, hell no. Okay? But in the same token, every veteran that is here, and all those who gave their lives before anyone who was here, gave that right for you to do so. So it is very, very hard to put into a working law something that is given to you as a freedom to do so. That is why it is very difficult. That is, and again, bringing us into Boise State. You all are getting ready to go back into the second part of your caucus, and you're voting on this, and what our platform will be on, and all that and everything. Okay? These are things that are coming up. You have to look at the full realm and spectrum of everything that's going on with that. But the bottom line is that this flag and what it stands for gives you the right to do certain things like that. Whether you believe it is right, wrong, moral, immoral, it gives you that right.